Magritte is the man with the bowler, is the artist who hid the faces under an apple, a pipe, or a sheet. Is the painter that more than any other made use of the common sense to distort the perception of the world. How could we imagine the life of an artist? Probably the first image that would come to mind would be that of disorder, chaos and restlessness. Indeed, it is so for many artists, but not for Magritte, who amazes with the apparent order of his life. Magritte is a habit man who loves his own routine. He is a man who prefers to surround himself only with the essential people, like his wife Georgette, a companion of his whole life. He's a person who doesn't like to travel, especially with a plane. He is a man who loves not to be noticed for his appearance, choosing sober and elegant clothing, shirt, jacket and bowler in perfect bourgeois style. We can therefore say that the life of Magritte is what is farther away imaginable from the bohemian life of the artists of his time. But then where does the extraordinary nature of history hide? To look beyond the surface, it is important to start from an episode of his personal history. Magritte attends drawing courses since he is 12 years old. He is a bad student except in art. In 1916, he enrolls at the Academy of Fine Arts in Brussels, but soon becomes restless and disillusioned. He feels he has nothing in common with other artists, his classmates. He moves away from them. He assumes a deeply rebellious attitude. The feeling of being different and hardly adaptable to the life of the peers leads him in search of a personal reality. In this period he chooses the appearance that will characterize him throughout his life. Clothing, bowler and jacket just like a uniform, to deviate from other artists dressed in an exuberant and flashy way. Perhaps in this discomfort is still well present the drama and pain for the loss of the mother, which took place 4 years earlier. Magritte loses his mother at the age of 14. She had committed suicide by throwing himself into the river under their home. From this episode, one understands how, beyond its apparent conformism, lies a highly provocative and subversive personality. Perhaps for this reason he is often called a quiet saboteur. Magritte's anti-conformism can only be fully expressed in art and life through humor, his greatest weapon. Humor is an extraordinarily effective form of freedom. The irony is a transformative force that allows you to overturn the negative and positive, the heavy and light, the anger and laughter. The irony is what you do not expect and, for this reason, amazes and surprises. How does Magritte express his irony? René Magritte plays on the sense of things, or rather, plays on the common sense that we habitually give to things. For example, it leads to excess contradictions, a pipe that is not a pipe. The language, usually used to describe reality, gives rise to an infinite series of misunderstandings. Magritte decides to clarify this paradox. The contradiction, in fact, is only apparent, because the pipe of the painting cannot actually be smoked, as two-dimensional and not real. Magritte places everyday objects outside their usual context. In this way, they lose their ordinariness and banality to acquire new meanings, profound and surprising. Clouds made of stone, spatial illusions at the limits of the absurd. Men in bowler raining from the sky. The presence of day and night. All this arouses a profound sense of bewilderment and disorientation in the spectator, who begins to ask, what is true reality? This question, made with the right lightness, is what can lead the irony. Free yourself from conventions, free the imagination, and discover unprecedented links that bind together objects and events apparently untied. How can we be inspired from the story of René Magritte? It is nice to think that the message hidden in Magritte's works is, do not believe what you see, look at the world as a child, do not take anything for granted. This brings us to our theme, the importance of having irony in life. The opposite of irony is not seriousness, but common sense. Without irony we could not have a critical sense, because the irony urges us to see beyond the concreteness of the situations we live from day to day. Through an ironic look, we can push beyond the daily difficulties, by putting the facts of life in the right perspective. How does a child see the world? He has not yet learned the names of all the adult objects, and what are their use, and have not understood all the rules of social life. But precisely for this reason he looks with continuous surprise to the world of adults, and also manages to grasp the many no senses. This dowry, own of the children, is maintained in many adults thanks to the irony. Here's what we can learn from the life of Marguerite: do not forget the irony when we look at our lives. Living the gift. Life stories to inspire us.